So, welcome, Paul Martin, Solution Engineer here at AMC Technology. And our marketing team loves us to actually give a fun fact. So, my fun fact is actually I wanted to have this as my profile picture, but no one would let me have it. So, we're back to the one. Another fun fact. I think you guys all received an email from marketing stating that if you do ask some questions in this demo, that we will put you in an entry for a $100 Visa gift card. So please have your questions ready. And anytime you want to, or you think of a question, you maybe either want to jot it down and ask it at the end, or you can put it in the chat. And like I said, Mariah will be watching for those chats to be able to give me the questions at the end of the demo. So
yes,
let's dive
your
in.
Questions. Sorry to interrupt, Paul, but welcome and feel free to ask your questions and I will get them to Paul.
Excellent. Thank you, Mariah. So what is that DaVinci platform that we're talking about today? It's a way to empower the enterprise, and the people that really need to understand it and want to know more about it are usually the leaders and what those leaders are actually asking for out there today. And in this case, IT leaders, solution architects, and your contact and CX leaders. And from our perspective, we are going to really kind of look at and focus this actual demo from a solutions architect perspective. But any questions you have, if you're someone who is in that CX leadership or in that IT leadership, please go ahead and think about any kind of challenges you may have. And those are the types of questions you probably want to ask. So if you see anything here that sparks it, or you have something already within your own contact center that could use some improvement, jot it down or put it in the chat again for Mariah to take a look at. So we do have a solution architect here, and we are going through this from that perspective. So I want to kind of get this a little bit more personal, and we'll actually call our solution architect Derek. So from now on, we'll be talking about Derek and what Derek is going to do and what he needs to get done to give what the end user, or in this case, the agents, want to be able to give their customers the best experiences possible. So Derek's going to go off, and Derek's going to talk to his CX leader and IT leader, and he's going to come back in a little bit to give us what we really want to do here. So DaVinci platform, what is it? It's an orchestration platform. It's the ability to bring in a whole lot of different abilities instead of just, I think a lot of people, when they get into an actual demo and or looking for a actual system or solution that can do what they want, they're thinking about this point to point. They're thinking about, hey, I want an actual call to come in. I just want my screen to pop. Okay, great. I mean, yes, we do that, but we do a lot more. And over the years, we've been building on that. So we have a lot of different areas that can help in that, in that actual user experience or that agent experience to help out their customers. So we kind of break it down into two different kind of orchestrations. One is from the experience. And again, what we've been just talking about is the agent having that experience and giving that experience off to the customer. And what can you do to make sure that experience is great for them? And then the other side is the deployment orchestration. We'll dive into these a little bit more, but it's the ability to get that system to where it needs to be, or get it, from an IT perspective or even a supervisor perspective, being able to handle that actual deployment of that orchestration. So again, why orchestrate it? It brings in a lot of different areas within the board. I'm not going to go through all of these, but kind of pick out a few from your day one protection to your AI training with transcriptions and transferring to people, knowledge workers who are really, you don't want them to have all of that back-end functionality, but you want them to get the information. You have those abilities with all of this. And that again comes down to the different apps, and we'll get in deeper and deeper into all this as we go along. And this slide here kind of breaks it down into what we like to have our 4 quadrants and our 2 areas. And the deployment and orchestration handling your identity and access management from your IT and your supervisor. Love this because they are the ones that will be handling, putting in users and profiles and making sure the authentication, everything is working as they want it. From a data management, I mentioned day one protection. Everything is there on the actual desktop of the agent within their browser. Nothing is going back to our cloud. So there's no worry about PII and all of that type of data protection because it's all being handled in there. And whatever solutions you decide to use, again, Microsoft ecosystem we're really focusing on here, but all of this can be handled through Salesforce, ServiceNow, any of those other products if you own those. And then again, from your unified data access and your AI, being able to take that actual data that's coming in that we're giving to you from our events to be able to use it within your CRMs or any other backend products that you may be using. And then again, from your experience orchestration, Derek's going to love the fact that, hey, the agents as well, that they're getting real-time responses. And Derek, of course, is going to like the decoupling, being able to create these different profiles, being able to bring in the different apps. If today we're again the Microsoft ecosystem. Tomorrow you might merge in with a company that has Salesforce, and you need to bring in all of this into Salesforce. Give them as you phase them into maybe your Microsoft ecosystem, and then of course the streamlined data flow. But what we're really going to be focusing on from Derek's perspective is the apps themselves. Derek is kind of challenged with bringing this all together, and he's off there talking to his CX leaders and his IT team, and he's really trying to determine exactly what needs to be done here. And he understands that, hey, from that enterprise application framework perspective, he can pick from pre-built apps that are already going to be out there. We'll, again, dive a little deeper into what those pre-built apps are. And then he also knows that he has the ability to use apps that allow for low code, no code. So he already knows that there's some things already out there in different systems that he may want to already take advantage of. And although it's not 100% Microsoft ecosystem wise, it does use some back end, in this case, from a custom apps perspective. We're going to bring in custom apps and also talk a little bit how they kind of also relate to the low code, no code. And from those actual enterprise applications and from that Microsoft actual ecosystem, we have a bunch of different pre-apps and the low code, no code. So you got your Dynamics, your transcription, your Teams, you got your cognitive services and your Copilot, and your low code, no code, you're going to have Power Apps, Power Automate, and just Office in general. So Derek was off talking to his team, and his team has come back. And just as a reminder, Derek actually works for Best Bikes. They are a bike company that ships out their bikes to both B2C and B2B. So they have the ability to get out there, and what the challenge was is they really didn't have a great system in their Dynamics. It's kind of all over the board. So what they wanted to do is kind of bring that together. So what they came back with is, hey, we need to be able to actually have Teams integrated into Dynamics. So we want to be able to embed the call controls right in there. And Dynamics has a few different ways of doing that, of course. This one is going to be CIF. So this is kind of phase one for Derek because they know CIF 2 is out and they do want to bring in some other channels in the future. But for right now, we're kind of handling phase one, and that is let's just get Teams in there, let's get some calls in and be able to do some things off those calls as they come in. And one of those things is, well, they got to, they're delivering these bikes and they want to be able to actually see what's going on with that delivery. So if that caller just called in and there's already a delivery associated with that caller, well, let's pop something up so we can actually see some information and be able to handle, what's going on with that call. And then the other thing is that we talked about is they have some VIP customers and they definitely want to handle them with care. So not only from a routing perspective, which you can do in the back end and be able to be sure that calls are getting routed to your most experienced agents, but they also want to be sure that if those coming in, just something quickly to be able to determine, hey, I'm a VIP contact and I want to be treated as so. So with that said, we got kind of a business plan to go with. And Derek is then going to go and check out the actual DaVinci orchestration and be able to go into what we call Creator Studio. And he can go in there, and that's where kind of everything happens from, from building out your solution. So Derek has already gone through the overview. He's already gone through everything he needs to know. He knows that we do have some specific information. And what he's going to do is right from here, he was just going to go out to get more apps, and he's going to go check out our actual app gallery to be sure he has the actual apps he requires. So you can see right now, there's a bunch of check marks on here. Those check boxes mean that those actual apps are already installed. And we got a lot more check boxes than, of course, the Microsoft ecosystem needs. But as I said earlier, it doesn't need to be actual Microsoft to handle a lot of the actual CRMs. Some of the things that will be used in that may still be Microsoft ecosystem, but you can have any kind of CRM running that show. So he sees some of the things here. He's going to scroll down because the specific apps from the Microsoft ecosystem are a little further down, and he's going to pick these specific apps. So these are your pre-built apps from your Microsoft CRM 365, which is going to be the front end of what runs this show, to Teams, which we talked about. We're going to integrate that into Microsoft 365, and then the Power Apps and the Power Automate. He knows again that they're a Microsoft shop, so he's already got some Microsoft Power Apps out there and some flows, and he knows that there might be a little bit of tweaks or whatever, but he might be able to use what has already been built in some of these cases. If not, he's going to go ahead and build those. So that said, he is working and looking at what are some of those things that need to be done. Well, the actual Power App needs to be built. So in this case, again, just doing some sort of quick delivery thing that will be able to show the information that's happening per where that person calling in is associated to. He's also needs that Power App to be able to determine through the legacy systems what's actually happening for that, if that is an actual VIP customer, because he doesn't, for some reason, they don't have it in Microsoft today. And then lastly, the actual custom side of things, he needed a custom app because he wanted to be able to show that that customer coming in is actually a VIP customer. So he's just creating a quick app within Creator Studio that actually will allow for that to be embedded in our framework as well. So not only is this going to do things from other frameworks, but it's going to be our framework as well. And that said, we're ready for getting into the demo. And the demo agenda really is, hey, Best Bikes, as I said earlier, they are a bike retailer, and they need to get their actual bikes to the people as soon as possible. So what's going to happen? Based on the use cases and user stories that they were given, they were asked to be sure that that agent's going to be able to show right off the bat that's VIP customers. They're going to be able to bring up some information about that actual delivery to be sure that that delivery is where it needs to be and where it's going. Because in this case, there are some frustrated customers because bad weather and other things have caused delivery delays. And then what's happening here is 99% of this probably demo is going to be Microsoft ecosystem oriented. So let's go ahead and jump in to Derek back to his app gallery where he was getting his apps. And after he got his apps, he's going to want to go back to his actual Creator Studio. And he's been logged out. He always likes being logged out. So we'll go ahead and, log him back in. And we're back into Creator Studio. So we'll just go to our apps section of Creator Studio. And this is where Derek really is going to focus most of his attention. There are other areas here. This is where we created our actual app. This is where we were talking about the being able to handle the users and being able to put them in. You got import, export abilities. You have multiple areas that you could do from a user perspective. Licensing, He's making sure he's up on licensing. Hey, 100% cloud. You don't have to worry about anything. Your licenses will be automatically updated for you. If you're premise-based, there is a little bit more work depending on what you're having. In this case, this Microsoft ecosystem is going to be 100% cloud, so there is no need for servers or anything like that. And then you have the other areas where if you're doing certifications for SAML logins and things like that, or your REST keys if you want to take advantage of some of the API calls we have, because not only the import-export of agents, but you can also, and we have customers who, and of course, most of those customer driven, we've had customers asking for specific things like this as they want to be able to build out an ability to add agents or remove agents based on what they're doing on their other products to be able to have them automatically happen in the back end. And then it's just your auth profiles, being able to build out specific auth profiles. But again, Derek is focusing right here, and this is what he really wants to work on. And that is getting his actual solution based on those user stories built up for him. So let's go ahead and just go and find those specific apps that we needed, and we have them here. So we'll go ahead and add in our Microsoft 365. We want our Power App to be able to bring in our low code, no code. And we want our Teams, of course, to be able to integrate Teams into the Microsoft. And we want that custom code that we built earlier for that VIP to be sure the VIP is coming in. And for that VIP to come in, well, we need to check our legacy data with our actual flow that we built. So we have our Microsoft 365, our Power App. Now the Power App is just I'll call it like a shell. It's the ability to bring Power Apps, but it's based off DaVinci data. So any data that you might have coming in, I know Teams is a little, maybe not have as much data coming in, but other products, again, this doesn't have to be Teams as well. As I said, it doesn't have to be Microsoft Dynamics 365. Well, it doesn't actually have to be Teams as well. So I didn't bring in a lot of the associated channel providers that we handle here because it's kind of more on the Microsoft side, but there are other areas that you can come in, and that data, any data that's being sent in from there can actually be passed through to any one of these kind of apps. And we look at these particular ones like the Power Apps and the Power Automate. They're what we call interceptor apps. So not only that data that's coming across, but the events that handle that data. You can, in this particular case, we're watching on an interaction event. So when an interaction is happening, that call is coming in, that data is coming with that call. We're taking that data and we're able to push it into all of these apps. But on the other side, these apps may require data based on the app itself. So the Power Automate needs to go to a legacy system to be able to pull in specific data to make sure it's a VIP customer, which then will associate and let the VIP app know that it needs to be available to show. Same with the Power Apps. Caller can't called in. The data that was associated to that person calling in needs to go out to the Power App, so they can find the delivery and do what it needs to do to be able to show that. So that said, we have all of our apps here. Now you notice that the other two, like the DaVinci Agent and the Global Presence, those apps are just automatically there. And depending on building out your actual account, a lot of times what we'll do is put you into a template. So anytime you go to build a new profile, then that profile will automatically associate to those beginning apps, and then you can move on from there and be able to do what you need to do. All right, again, and I'm not pausing here because the questions will be at the end, but just remember, if you do have questions or you're thinking about these questions as this is happening, throw them into the chat so you have something to go back on. Again, Mariah will let us know. All right. Okay, so let's go and take this and actually show what it's really going to do. So I'll kind of go over to our Microsoft CRM and see if we got logged out of there. Just check. All right, looking good. So what we have here is Microsoft CRM. It should have really been on our dashboard here, showing some information that's coming in. Nowadays, these dashboards, not out of box, but they're pretty easy to build, and they are associated to activities that happen during calls and any other channels for those that matter. They get added to your dynamic system, and then you can do reports on them. Again, that's the same for, I think, one, Salesforce. We do have the ability, if you, as an add-on, to be able to get managed, an unmanaged package to be able to do those right out of box. But most of them, they do not have that, and they're pretty easy to build. So let's go ahead. We have our teams embedded into our CIF with the Dynamics area, and we'll go ahead and put a call through. Kind of see what's going to happen here. That's just popped up because my phone's there. We're just going to have it go directly to the agent. And as it's coming into the agent, you see something popped up here on the left. We got our call over here. We got our call information popping into our activities automatically. We got the screen that actually popped in. I'm just going to go ahead and answer that call because I'll lose it. But prior to doing that, I'm going to do a little trick here that allows for a on top. So answer the call. So we got an answered call. So you notice also, I did want to bring this in because we're talking about a lot of things here. We're talking about Power Automate, Power Apps. What you saw at the beginning was PowerPoint. And another little tip here, if you ever wanted to do this and bring it in, there's a thing out there called Power Tools. And what Power Tools is allows for you to do a whole lot of different things. And one of them is to keep things on top if you wanted to. So that could probably be integrated automatically, but you noticed as I answered the call and walked around here onto here, this actually is not moving out of my way. So I'm just going to kind of show that it actually did pop me up and on the screen, and also the main information that I'm working with that customer is because they called in and they did have a delivery. Their delivery schedule came up right here on the screen. Now, you may have seen some of our other demos where this actually isn't popped up automatically. This one was more associated to actual finding delivery data. The other one was, I think if you've seen it, we used to use transcriptions here as well, where when the customer or the person to contact calling in would say something specific, they would, at the screen would then actually pop up the delivery at that specific point in time after we heard or had heard that an order number came in. This one, of course, a little bit different. We didn't bring in the transcription this time. It's just a little more difficult to get more people involved in getting transcriptions and everything running at the same time. So that said, we do have the information. You saw the app that they were building to be able to go out and see this. This delivery person myself is located in Richmond, so it's kind of just showing how the weather's going there. Being able to talk to that actual agent. That contact about what's going on within the environment or the delivery area. So that said, one of the things what he was actually going to do was check, because the delivery was a little late. He wanted to actually check it around and change the route of that delivery just to help him out a little bit. So he's now kind of third on the list and being able to get his delivery at 1:22 instead of probably around the time it was going to be like 4:41. That also said, so the other part of this was that when he was over checking or getting the details and he did change the route, he wants to get that route over to the driver. So what I kind of wanted to just kind of really show real quick here is, so that didn't connect either. Okay, just give me a sec. I want to bring in our team so we can just see that the class, that's not Teams. Lost my Teams. Oh, I'm on Teams because it's on the actual phone call already. All right, so let's go ahead, and what we'll do here also is maybe it wasn't something that was actually on the plan of action, but he thought he'd give them something a little bit extra, and that is being able to send that information of the route change to the driver so that the driver actually will get that information coming in. And so the product walkthrough. Okay, maybe he didn't, maybe I should test that one a little bit better before I did it. But a Teams message did go out to the driver, and the driver was getting ready for that actual, to know that he could, check his system to be sure he's actually getting the right delivery schedule. So that brings us to 26 minutes in, really 25, because we started a minute late. And I will open it up for questions for the last 15 minutes. So Mariah, is there anything from the chat perspective that you can answer?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. So I think I've answered a lot of questions probably already on the actual demo itself. Just going to minimize that, get it out of the way. We'll go ahead and end this call. But again, I'll just reiterate that area that you were seeing earlier from the dashboard, these actual activities are being created automatically. So when this caller ends this call, there's going to be another activity added to go into this full display of reports and dashboards. And I'll just go ahead and end that call. I guess I didn't point out also that, hey, there is his actual custom app that he had built, spent a lot of time putting a Power Flow and a custom app together to be sure that the agent, when the call came in, knew automatically that they are a VIP customer and to treat them with care. So I'll go ahead and end that call. And that is it for the demonstration. So if you have any questions, please remember all questions are going to be added into an entry for that Visa card.
Go ahead. You can, if you'd rather just speak, Hussein, you can go ahead and just ask Paul.
Hi, Paul. Good afternoon. Sorry,
Hi, Jose.
Good afternoon. Hi. Sorry, regarding the navigation and to track the vehicle, we have our own fleet management system. Could be integrated, an API, so could be integrated with our system. So our fleet management system will feed the map in front of the agent.
So again, I mean, that would be kind of a discovery call with you, but my assumption would be yes. It depends. We actually just had a customer the other day, not a Microsoft shop really, so no Power Apps, but the Power App, showing the Power App popping up kind of sparked a question just like you did, where they have a web page and they wanted to bring that web page up. Yes. So if yours is web oriented, if it can handle query parameters or anything like that, then we could definitely push that into there and bring that up. You do have other options. You have the options to bring that in. As you saw, the VIP came up inside the actual CIF area here, or in any case, and the iframe, let's just call it. That could be popped out like we did with the Power App, or again, you could bring it in here if it's a small amount of data. If it's a whole page that you need to see, you can definitely bring it in here. And again, based off the data. So what are you front ending this with from a channel provider perspective? Do you know?
Yes, actually they have their they developed this system based on GIS, so it is very advanced, and they have the detailed map for our country.
Oh, excellent. I mean, if it can take the again, you can build this out. It doesn't have to be Power App oriented. It can be a custom app, and in that custom app, you can tell it to bring that page up and send it what data you need to send it. So you can send it within the actual a post request or a get request. You could send that data directly to the page and have that page pop up. Yes, you could do that.
Okay, and I can see here the possibility also to communicate with the driver. Is it possible somehow by text?
Yes, unfortunately, my demonstration didn't work as well as I was hoping it was going to work, but what we used was a Teams post, but you could also, depending on the system that you have, if it has the ability to do SMS, you could, yes, you could send that text message to that driver.
Because agents, when they are busy, they don't prefer to go through different multiple screens. So from their DaVinci screen, they can send a message to the driver directly.
Yes, yes. That they can do it through the screen itself, or again, a quick little custom app to bring up that specific driver's information,
Yes.
and then just press a button, which would then send them acknowledgement of whatever it is they wanted to send.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what is the name of this app?
Name of the, I'm sorry?
Communication. Is it there? Is it in the studio? This app is available now.
Well, the SMS would be available per what channel provider are you using today?
So
do you
now
have
for
SMS?
this type of communication, so far now it is enough. SMS is enough because it's only simple text.
Right. But do you already have SMS, an SMS provider?
Yes.
We're not an.
Yes,
yeah,
we have.
Yeah. Because we're not an actual provider of the channels. We control the channels. So if you already have the channels in place, like the SMS, then yes, we can build out what needs to be done based on your discovery and information that you require.
We have our own SMS gateway. Yes, we have our SMS gateway.
Yeah, then it could be done. Yes.
Okay.
Would it be 100% out of box? It would be determined on exactly what you wanted to do. If you wanted to send pre-canned messages, or you just wanted to type something out, that would make that difference. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions? We'll go back to we'll go back to the actual get more apps, just because in here we don't have every single app. You can see again, as I said, the actual little green check box in a circle here is what determines that the apps are already in my actual account. But you can see there's other ones here without those check marks that we handle as well. So we do have quite a few, and this list continues to grow as we go along, as customers come in and they require things, or we decide on our roadmap to build out more things like that are already there. You can take advantage of speed dials. My calls today is really just an ability to go out to any kind of report that you may have, whether it be internal to the actual CRM that you're using, or out to another system that you may have that you want to show up. So there are other areas. Just to throw this out here, spark any other possible questions that people may have. But if there isn't any more questions, I will let people have a little bit more time, because I don't want to waste your time if you're done with it. Nothing else on your side, Mariah?
No other questions have come through, so we can send this recording out afterwards.
Excellent. And thank you, Hossein, for your question, and have a great, you're almost getting into evening, I believe. So have a great afternoon and evening.
Yes. Thank you.
Great.
Have a nice day.
Great. Yeah, you too.
Thank you for this valuable information. Thank you, all the team. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.